This is cs952, Introduction to Web Technologies and Design, and we just dropped our table in place. What we need to do now is to add content to our table. And let's switch over to Design View real quick. So we can see the caption for our table. What's a little hard is actually getting our data into our table. It can be a little bit tricky. If you'll notice, occasionally I can maybe get my cursor to sort of highlight the cell where I want to be editing the properties. Let me give you a tip. The thing to do is to go to Code View and highlight. Now this, what I'm highlighting right now, it's an ampersand NB SP semicolon, and that is web code for a non-breaking space. So let's say you've got two words. Maybe the two words are Star Wars, and you don't want them to go on separate lines. You don't want like one line to end with star, the next word to begin with wars. You always want the two words Star Wars to be right next to each other. You could write star and then put in this code non-breaking space and then the word wars, and that would guarantee that those two words are always next to each other. It's a non-breaking space, and Dreamweaver likes to use these to hold spaces for content, to sort of make sure that that space is reserved. So this is an empty space that's being set aside just for the very first block in our table. So this is what I'm going to do. I've highlighted that, and I'm going to delete that. Now the first thing that goes in my table, the first element in my table is date. And maybe I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. The columns on my table, it's going to be date, what the development is, and then who that development is attributed to. So I know that those are the three headers for my table. First one is date, D-A-T-E. Okay, now your table might be slightly different. Once we have something in that first cell, we can easily use, once we switch to Design View, we can easily use the Tab key to jump between one cell and the other, and it's a lot easier to put information into the table. But you kind of have to have a place to start with where you know where you're starting. And in this case, we're starting with the first cell in the first table on the first row, and I know what I want to have there is the word date. So let's switch to Design View real quick and see what we're looking at. So there it is. There's the word date, courtesy of Dreamweaver. It's filled in that space for us, and of course it's bold, and it's going to be centered as well, because anything that's contained inside of a table header cell is always bold and centered. And if I look over here in Code View, I can see I've got TH, and TH stands for table header. What information am I going to be putting into my table? Now your table might be different, but I've got a table. I've got some facts and some information about pencils. And if you want to use the information that I'm going to be adding in, you can go to the tutorial folder, and once again you can double click on the files, and there is some pre-existing text to sort of help you get started here. I see that was a part about the home page. Here we are. We're looking at Module 4 right now, right? That was the information we added for Module 3. So it says Module 4, this is the content for the pencil table. So row 1, the table header, first thing we have is year. Well, I already put in year. The next one is developments. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to copy developments, and I'm going to go over here to Design View, and as long as I'm here in this first cell where it says date, I'm going to click on the Tab key on my keyboard, and Dreamweaver takes me over to the next cell. Now it's really hard to know that this is exactly what happened. If we switch back to Code View, it would be really clear, but if we look in our DOM panel, you'll see that the second table header cell is highlighted. See, if I click on the first one where it says date, notice there in the lower right hand corner the first table header cell is highlighted, right? If I hit the Tab key, I'll hit it again. Now I'm in the second table header cell, and now I'm going to paste in that content that I just copied. I'm going to hit Control V on the keyboard, or I can click on Paste from my standard toolbar, or I can choose Paste from Edit. They all work just fine. This time I'll click on Paste, and there we go. Now we've got developments in there. Okay, what's the next piece of text I need. It says credited to. So I'm going to highlight credited to, and I'm going to copy that. And again, right, currently I'm in the second table header cell. I know this because I can look right over in the DOM panel and Dreamweaver will tell me where I am in the page. I'm going to hit Tab, and I'm in the next table header cell. It's the last one, right? I've got 3 columns, table header 1, 2, and 3. And again, I'm going to click on Paste. Here we go, Paste. And now I've got credited to. Now if I hit Tab again, I will jump down to the first cell in the next row. I'm going to hit Tab, and there I am. And now I can see in my DOM panel, right, my Document Object panel, I can see that I'm in that next cell. And this one is a table data cell, right? This is where we actually put the data for this row. And I'm going to, so what's the next piece of information I need? If I scroll over here, this is my text files. It says row 2, table data. So the first thing there is 1565. I guess that's a year, so I'm going to hit copy. And I'm going to go back to my history. And I am going to go under edit, and I'll choose paste here. Okay, there we go, 1565. All right, what's next? I have some text here that says a large deposit of graphite is discovered in Cumbria. I'm going to right click and hit copy. Okay, switch back to design view, and again I'm in that first cell, that first table data cell. I'm going to hit the tab key. Now I'm in the second one. I know I'm in the second one because my document object panel shows me right here. That's where I've moved to. And I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut this time and hit Control V for paste. And what comes next? So who is this credited to? This is credited to unknown. We have no idea who did this, okay? So I'm going to right click, copy, and I'm going to hit tab again, and I'm in that third cell. I know because in my document object model panel, my DOM panel is showing that I'm in the third one, and I'm going to right click, and I can just hit paste if I want to. All different ways of cut, copying, and pasting. And I'm going to hit tab again. Here we are. We're on the next line. Okay, what comes next? This is row 3. 1795. I will copy. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to paste. I'll tab over. I'm in my next cell. I can see because my document object panel tells me I am. I'm going to copy my next line about a method of mixing. Copy that. Now let's go over here and right click and choose paste. There, we got it. And now this was credited to Nicholas Jacques Conte, I guess is how you say the name. Copy. Click over here. Just hit the tab key and then click paste. Okay, moving right along. Alright, so let's see if we can get this wrapped up here. Okay, I'm going to right click, copy 1821, hit the tab key, and hit paste. Go to my text files, automated pencil production, right click and choose copy. Click over here in design view, hit the tab key, and click on paste. And this was credited to Ebenezer Wood. Right click and choose copy. Press the tab key. Click on paste. Okay, row 5, 1858. Right click and choose copy. I'm going to hit the tab key. And I'm going to click on paste. Okay. And let's see. It's a patent about attaching an eraser. I'm going to highlight, copy, go over to history, click on my tab key. Again, I can see that I'm keeping an eye on my document object panel. It's showing me that I'm always in the right place. Click on paste, and that is credited to Hyman Lipman. So right click and copy there. Go back to my history, hit the Tab key again. I am in the last cell of this row. Click on Paste. Almost finished. Let's go back to my text files. Now I'm going to copy the date of 1870. Copy. I'm going to hit the Tab key again. Click on Paste. And now I'm highlighting some text about full-scale mass production. Right-click, copy, hit the Tab key, and paste. We're almost there. Right? Go back to my text files. Joseph Dixon. Highlight, drag over that, copy, press the Tab key, and click on Paste. Now I'm going to hit Save All. And we will come back, but now we've got all the data that we need. Now we're going to do some formatting because right now the table doesn't look all that great.